I'm definitely not, but you might be somebody that actually cares about size and weight. I'd rather just have the best tool for the job and deal with a sore wrist if I have to, or any other kind of awkward feel. I just want the best tool, but that's not everybody. So if you have a Nikon Z8 and you're considering any of these 6 lenses that I have in front of me today, we're going to go through how they feel on the Nikon Z8. And those lenses are the 20mm f1.8s, the 24mm f1.8s, the Nikkor Z MC 105mm f2.8s, that's the macro, the Nikkor Z 135mm f1.8s plana, the Nikkor Z 85mm f1.2s, and the Nikkor Z 50mm f1.2s. I think we can start here with the Nikkor Z MC 105. Just so I don't have to say this every single time, it's important to know that I'm primarily a portrait photographer. I don't shoot any action. I hate sports. I don't shoot wildlife. I'm mostly shooting portraits and macro flowers and some landscapes and stuff like that if I get really bored. And so for the most part, the Nikon Z8 has capabilities that far exceed the types of photography that I primarily enjoy shooting. And I just wanted to get that out of the way. That way I didn't have to say, oh, this particular combination is kind of overpowered for this, that, or the other. So we're just talking about balance. And the Nikon Z8 and the MC 105 f2.8, this feels really dang good. The Nikon Z8 with that slightly bigger body and the length out in front of the Z8 with this, the MC105 is actually not a heavy lens at all. It does have length, but the Z8 has weight. So just look how good that balances, right? On just 2 fingers. It's almost parallel to the table. If I can't really get down that far. It looks to be about parallel, so that's an excellent balance. It's not heavy. I could do this all day, whether I'm using this for portraits, which this is an excellent portrait lens, or if I'm doing flowers by hand, or this is actually better to put on a tripod than the Nikon Z9, in my opinion, because it's just smaller and easier to get out for macro. And so it feels super darn good. Next, let's try the 20mm f1.8s. Now this looks silly. The 20mm looks silly on every camera that you put it on. It's just a silly looking lens. Weight-wise, it's actually a tad back heavy, but it's not uncomfortable. It doesn't feel like it's gonna fall out of your hands. It feels more centered than it technically is, and it just feels dang good. An excellent combination if you're just walking around doing some handheld landscapes or stuff on the street or some architecture. Feels really good. The Nikon Z8 and the Nikkor Z 20mm f1.8s. The 24mm f1.8s. A lens that's still surprising me how much I actually like it. I have some content on it that you can watch. And as far as how it feels incredibly similar to the 20mm. They're very close in size. They're similar in weight. It feels fantastic. A little bit of a heavier on the back side than the front side, but once you get your hands around it, it does not feel crazy at all. It feels really, really good. Yep, you can do this all day. Moving on to our chunky lenses, let's do the Nikkor Z 135mm f1.8s plana. It's like orders of magnitude in size compared to what we've done so far. Now, surprisingly, with just a little bit more weight on the back side, we'll hold this up here. We do have frontward lean, but because of the extra thick body of the Nikon Z8, it does not feel that crazy. I know that's a really heavy piece of glass on the front. There's, a decent amount of metal in this lens, tons of glass, but it's actually not putting too much pressure on that part of your finger. But this is the first lens of the day where you can feel it right here, but it's fine. Get you a strap. If you're not using some kind of sling or something like that, you're crazy anyway. You don't walk around with this expensive of a combination here without something to protect it if you drop it. So it's not like you're gonna have to do this all day or whatever. If you care about weight, you may start to maybe not like this. Only if you don't care about weight. If you care about image quality, you're not gonna get much better than this. The 50mm f1.2s, my former favorite lens of all time, and let's see how she feels. Now this lens is longer than the 135 plana by I want to say it's about an inch an inch or so, maybe a ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch. And so I expect it to dip furthermore. Yes, you can definitely feel it wanting to tank forward. We have an angle going down. This one you can definitely feel. Again, it's not like you're shooting it one-handed, so it's fine. But if we're just talking the weight, this one so far feels the most front heavy. I can feel it resting pretty good right there. I can feel myself wanting to grab it tighter with my thumb back here. So if weight really concerns you, luckily there is a fantastic option that is about this big. It's the 50mm f1.8s. It's not as sexy and juicy as the 50mm f1.2, but it is a fantastic and fast lens. But seriously, I have used this exact combination so many times. It's, oh my god, the 45 megapixels of the Z8 and the just the absolute oozing of sexiness from the 50mm f1.2s's output. Oh my god, you can't beat it. I lie, because you can beat it with the 85mm f1.2s. Now, I know from experience that the 50mm f1.2 is going to feel the most awkward. The 85mm f1.2s surprisingly feels pretty good on the front of the Z8. Yes, it is front heavy, but it doesn't feel exceedingly unbalanced. When you get in shooting position, it's not even as crazy as you might think it would be to do like a quick little one-hand shot. It doesn't feel as crazy as you think it would. It definitely is not super comfortable, but you can do an entire portrait session like this, and I think you would be surprised at how natural it does feel. Not natural, but wow, I wasn't expecting it to feel that okay. And it does feel okay. Better than okay. This right here, oh baby. This is about weight, not about output, but my god, the output of this combination here. Always remember, I know weight can be a concern, and you should always rent before you buy. Regardless of your preferences, the most important gear is always glass, 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 glass. And it just so happens to seem that the fattest, heaviest glass is just going to end up being the juiciest. But do whatever you want, because more important than gear is your skill as a photographer. I'm Z Wade, the Z Wade, and Z Wade Photo. Stay sharp, YouTube.